r/AskReddit. What is the most overrated place in the world? Hollywood Walk of Fame. You mean you don't like being handed CDs by strangers asking you to buy their album? When I was there, one of them got me to buy a CD. Next thing I know, I'm surrounded by all of them and leave with 6 new CDs. One of the CDs was actually pretty good. I fell for that in New York City. Immediately got surrounded by 6 people. Handed them $2 while panicking and ran away. I panicked as well. My mind just went on autopilot mode SMH. Out of bed. That place is total bullshit, where you often have to wear pants and interact with people. Hollywood. Hollywood is far superior. Hollywood. Times Square on New Year's Eve. Went there a few years with my girlfriend, her brother, and his girlfriend. It was miserable. We ended up leaving and watching the countdown on TV at a Korean BBQ place, and the 4 of us felt that was a much better experience. I really want to meet someone who legitimately thinks it's fun. I have yet to meet such a person. And I know a lot of people who've done, including myself. Obviously, I live in northern NJ. Dubai. It's so expensive. Agreed. And it's fucking desert. Nothing but expensive cars, hotels and fucking sand everywhere. Built with slave labor. Yeah, it sucks. I met a few of these workers and most of them say they are paid around $150 DHS $40 a day. Dude, $40 a day is big. Times Square. It's like physically being in a sketchy website without an ad blocker. All the stores there suck too. All the stores sell the same shit at different prices. Till everything is overrated and it's better to just stay home. The Little Mermaid in Copenhagen. Agreed. When I was there I just cycled past and took one photo. Spend most of my time in Christiania. That is a real attraction. Although the organized dealing is quite annoying. The Little Mermaid is similar to that kid peeing in Brussels. Forgot his name in French. Four Corners, USA. Wait in a line to take pictures of a line. Walk around and shop depressing stands with mercy. Pay for parking. Pay for parking? Holy shit. Yeah, I mean there's a serious shortage of surface space out there. I've just submitted plans for a Paris-themed resort area in Dubai. It's gonna be so successful. Make sure there's plenty of homeless people playing with their dicks. Los Angeles. It smells like pee, and it takes 2 hours to get anywhere. It's also extremely hot all the time. It's also extremely hot all the time. Lol. Phoenix area resident checking in from the surface of the sun, just SMH. Japan's countryside. Japan's major cities. Japan's major cities are pretty great though. Kyoto and Tokyo were great. Osaka was just okay. I would go back for the curry udon alone. But definitely get out into the countryside or smaller cities. Osaka, I found, has more relaxed people. It has less sights for sure. But going out, drinking, smoking, generally not being strictly strict Japanese all the time. It's laid back. For Japanese purposes. That I like. Constantinople. I wanted to go, but it turns out that they call it Istanbul. So now I'm disappointed that I can't go there. A few centuries too late for that one. I believe it was changed in the 1930s actually. Niagara Falls. The Maid of the Mist was worthwhile. The shops on the New York side are the worst tourist traps I've seen. New York side is essentially a Chinatown mall with $14 chicken fingers. And the Canadian side is a tiny Las Vegas style place. Honestly, the best thing to spend your money on is to cross the Rainbow Bridge on foot to take pics of the falls. Then it's the Maid of the Mists. 100% agree. Only things worth doing are the actual falls parts. Everything else is rough. I was on the Canadian side 18 months ago, and I thoroughly enjoyed the actual falls parts, the boat ride, and then the behind the falls walk. The sheer volume of water is astounding, both in terms of quantity and orally. Niagara Falls, the town was crappy, just a tourist trap, and not worth stopping at. However, Niagara on the lake, a few miles away, was much nicer. Still a little touristy, but in a colonial/old world style and a lot less in your face. Plus being on the lakeside was great. Niagara on the lake is beautiful and calm. I recommend it to everyone. The Canadian side of the falls is so much better in general. Sure, the town is a tourist trap, but the falls are beautiful and the town is definitely better than on the US side. San Francisco. Super expensive to live. Streets smell like piss. High taxes. Terrible traffic. Some fun tourist opportunities. But your money there is seriously a different currency. I rarely see anyone on Reddit say anything positive about San Francisco. I liked it enough when I visited it 7 years ago. Much more than Los Angeles anyway. At least it feels like a city. But I was only there for 3 days, and yet was lucky enough to do some crazy stuff, flying around the bay in a small plane for instance. So maybe I'm not in the best place to judge. I love the comments about the Grand Canyon. If you didn't do anything there, but walk to the edge, where you just want to throw off all the idiot tourists, no wonder you had a bad time. There's hiking and camping. The park is huge, and you can spend days there. Some people are spoiled and anhedonic. Get rid of that suburban and city mindset. Even if you just walk the edge and claim that the Grand Canyon is overrated, you got to be out of your fucking mind. There's nothing like it, and it is still an amazing experience. I went with a kid too little to do any of the hiking. Still loved it. At one point she fell asleep, so I just sat there at one of the less crowded overlooks. When no people were there, it's a hard to describe feeling. I want to say like silence for miles, which doesn't really make sense, but is the closest I can come with words. Currently my wife and I try to take our kids hiking at a local state park a lot, so that in a few years we can go back and actually hike into it. Bali. But mostly because of the boggans. Just got back from there. Agreed. Way too many boggans. As someone who's never been to Bali, but might want to go someday. What is a boggan? Australia's term for trashy people. In this case they mean annoying tourists, usually other Aussies, who disrespect the culture, and are just looking to get drunk off beantangs, and crash their mopeds. Strip clubs. Do you live in one of those places where strippers aren't allowed to get fully nude? The mall? Yeah, last time the mall Santa stripped naked. He was arrested. Like WTF. I think he should keep his underwear next time. Everywhere apparently, according to that place's locals. Disneyland. Tantrums are the main attraction. The best ride at Disney was the plane ride home. We did it once for the kids. Not going back. Honestly, Paris is kinda overrated lol. Don't get me wrong. It was a cool city, and I'm very glad I went, and I haven't traveled very much. But it's like real dirty, and there were constant threats of pickpockets or really aggressive street vendors. It was kinda stressful being there. There were also protests happening during the time we were there, so that was great. Vegas. I agree generally. I hate the Strip. Vegas is a second home, because family lives there. However, there is stuff to love there, if you're into outdoor stuff. Valley of Fire is like being on Mars, and you can see some cool desert wildlife sometimes. Mount Charleston is cool if you're looking for some trees and cool mountain air while friends hit the casinos. The Hoover Dam is nice. I never get tired of going there. I could go on, but Vegas can be really fun without the BS Strip. Gateway to places like Zion N.P. Also, I love how many people are saying Paris. Could not agree more. I don't know. It's not even the worst city in Texas. You've reached the end. You're a star. Destroy the subscribe button for more like that.